Okay, now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So, we have to continue Viranja. So there are many other things we have to explain that happen in Viranja. So one of the sutta is Paharara Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya, Book 3, and page 38. So there, when the Buddha was in Viranja, one of the Asura approached the Buddha. But he was a little bit scared to approach because a long time he was waiting. When he should approach the Buddha and thinking, finally, you can imagine in Viranja now, 12 was already. So 12 years we can say, he was planning to see the Buddha. So when the Buddha was spending Vassa, he approached, bringing many of his attendants and his friends. He also hesitates to see the Buddha. When the Buddha didn't say anything, although he planned to ask many questions, because of respect to the Buddha, he dare not put any question actually, keeping silent, sitting one side. The Buddha also realized if he didn't start speaking, the Asura may not speak anything. Another thing is, if the Buddha put very difficult question also, if the Buddha asks very difficult question, he may not be able to answer. So that Asura lived in the ocean. That's why the Buddha asks about the ocean. What about the ocean? How many wonders are there in the ocean? Then the Asura answer the Buddha. The great ocean has a gradual incline, a gradual leading, and a gradual slope. It does not fall abruptly. This is his answer, the first answer. It will be different from Singapore, right? Not gradual. Okay. Then again, the great ocean is everlasting, and it does not go beyond the limit. Then again, the great ocean does not live where the depths, where the corpse. That means if there's a dead body in the ocean, the wave will strike and send to the shore. Then the great river such as Ganges, Yamuna, Achiravati, Sarabu, and Mehi, having come to the great ocean, despite their name and clan. So that means before they came to ocean, they have different name. After all the water arriving at ocean, all the names disappear. They are named as the ocean. Then again, whatever rivers in the world and all rain that falls from the sky, rushing to the great ocean, does not make the ocean less or more. It doesn't actually. It means not flooding. Maybe ancient time not that much flooding. Maybe now in modern society we have, in modern day we have many flooding, right? Then again, the great ocean has one taste, the taste of salt. So in the river, it cannot be salty, right? When all the sweet water or good water join to the ocean, it becomes salty. Then again, the great ocean has many kinds of jewels. So there are many valuable things in the ocean. Then finally, the great ocean is the home of great beings such as large fish. There are many big animals in the ocean. So we also have very big animal in the land like elephants, but in the ocean fishes are bigger than elephant, right? So there are many large animals like fish or many other animals in the ocean. So altogether there are 8 wonders of the ocean. Then the Buddha also gives the simile in the same manner. In the Buddha's teaching, there are also 8 wonders. The first one, the dispensations of teaching is of gradual instructions, gradual performance, and gradual means of attaining the goal. It does not certain realizations of knowledge. So we also have step-by-step practice, step-by-step teaching. So without attaining Sotapanna, we cannot jump to Arhat, right? Gradually. So in modern society or in modern day, there are many teachers. They may say many different methods. We have gradual teaching. For example, Sila should be first, then Samadhi. After that, we have wisdom. Sila will be foundations for concentration, Samadhi. The Samadhi will be the foundations for Vipassana, the insight knowledges. So we have to practice gradually, from the beginning to the end. If we jump, then this is not really proper training. We cannot attain any higher attainment. Then many people may ask some questions about the Buddha's time. There are some arahats, they don't need to practice that much long time. After listening short discourse, they attain arhatship, they attain Sotapanna. How can we say they are practicing gradually? Sure, before they attain in their past lives, in their past existences, they have to fulfill the parami. They have already practiced gradually until they could attain Sankhārupakkhaññāna. That means the knowledge of equanimity towards formation. After practicing Vipassana up to Sankhārupakkhaññāna, so next life they became easier to achieve higher attainments or achieve that kind of level again. So since they have very strong parami, they have been practicing in many lives. That is why when they have a chance to listen a short discourse or long discourse from the Buddha or Buddha disciples, they could attain Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arhat. So in any conditions or any meditation practitioners, we must practice gradually from the beginning to the end. From 0, after that we have to start 1, 2, 3, 4 gradually, or the 7 purification step by step. Then again, My disciples not exceeding the limit of the appointed instructions even for the cause of life. Actually, here we should say 3 trainings. Let alone 3 trainings. It's too many, right? We can say very simple things, sila, morality. When the Buddha talk about morality, all his disciples will follow his instruction, his teaching, his guidance. If he prohibits, nobody will do. This is the way of Buddha disciple. So this means all the bhikkhus will not go beyond the limit, as there's a one wonder in great ocean. Then again, whoever person is virtuous with evil misbehaviors, whenever he is seated with the community, he is far away from them. The community too is far removed from him. So this also the simile mentioned before. If there's a corpse or dead body in the ocean, the wave will strike, move to the shore. Similarly, in Buddha's teaching, if there's a bad bhikkhus, they cannot continue their ordinary life comfortably. Okay, now I should say something new to you, because in Singapore you cannot experience that kind of things, right? In ordinary life, especially when we are learning, when we are a little young, probably 18 years or something like that. So we are also human beings, we also have human mind, sure. There will be some young Samnira or some young bhikkhu. You may have seen some traditional makeup in Myanmar, right? Tanaka. So sometimes they will wear tanaka, for example, at night. They dare not show anybody. So if most of the bhikkhu, if they decorate themselves too much, they will disturb. Naturally. So even in my life, I have many classmates. When you have already know my biography, right? I was already when I was 14 years old, teenage boy. Also, I have many classmates in the Bali school. So when I finish elementary to Dhamacharya, we call Patamaji, we can say grade 3. When I finish grade 3, I have very few, I think around 4 or 5 classmates remain. Many of young Samnira are disturbed already. They cannot continue ordinary life. Gradually, I finished school. All my classmates also finished school. I think up to year 2016 maybe. Maybe 2016 up to and ended that time. I have many classmates. I have only 2 classmates. Sorry, two classmates, me and my friends. So recent year, he also disturbed. Now among all my classmates, I'm only person. So that means not easy to survive in ordinary life. Right? So that means if we have to break many rules and regulations, we are not very happy, find it disturbed. That's why although we sit together, we are very far from the community. If we are not very virtuous, not very moral. So from time to time, we also encounter some difficulties to associate with our senior. I myself experienced many times. Sometimes, actually, I have to see some senior. When I have to bow down, they reject it. They're scared, something like that. So that means, although they don't say I'm immoral, right? But we can also sense what is his mind. Anyway, the main thing is, if someone is not very virtuous, although we are sitting together, our minds are very far. Finally, gradually disrobe. So this is also the same, right? Corpse will be stricken by the wave. Similarly, Buddhist law will remove unvirtuous or immoral bhikkhus. Then again, the 4 clans of warriors, Brahmins, householders, or outcasts dispel their earlier names and clans and become recluse, the son of the Sakya. So before ordination, they may have their own lineage, their own clans and castes. But after ordination, only one caste. Nothing different. They have to follow the same rules, the same practice. They don't have any particular favor from any caste. This is also Buddha dispensation. Then again, many bhikkhus entering elements of extension does not show decrease or increase. Here, because the translation is an element of extension, that means Nibbana. So if someone bhikkhu had attained Nibbana, so they cannot be increased or decreased. They have already eradicated all the defilements, then no more future. We cannot say they improve or they decrease. This is also the wonder of the Buddha's teaching. Then, the dispensation of the teaching has one taste, the taste of release. Actually, we can also translate like liberations or freedom or emancipation. Only one taste. So before we attain path and fruition knowledge, we may have different tastes, maybe. For example, for new practitioners, when we can focus on the breath very well, you may have a joy, rapture, tranquility. This is a new taste. Then when we can attain jhana, sure, there is also new taste. Gradually, when we can practice vipassana, new taste. After completing all the training, if we can attain nibbana, then it will be the same taste. Liberation, emancipation, of freedom. This is also Buddha's dispensation. Now and again, the dispensations of teaching has various kind of jewel, such as the 4 establishment of mindfulness. That means 4 satipatthana. This is also great jewel. So we also have many other jewelry, but they have the price, limited price. Although people say it's invaluable, but they have limited price. So the 4 foundations of mindfulness and all the jewelries in Buddha's teaching are higher value. That's why we cannot buy anywhere. We have to try to achieve. Practically, when we are going to observe precepts, we cannot buy, right? When we are going to do dana, we can ask our friends, our family member to help us. Now I will keep my donation here. I'm going to come to the monastery. Please offer for me. They can help. For our sila, nobody can help. My friends, I'm not free. Please go to monastery, observe 8 precepts. It cannot be our precepts, right? It can be our friend precepts. Similarly, in family member also, if parents are not free, they can ask their children to offer. So when parents will do observe precepts, if they are not free, they cannot ask their children, like my son, please go to the monastery, observe 8 precepts. It cannot be parents' precepts, it can be children precepts. So we ourselves have to do. Also, this jewel, that kind of treasure, is only our personal. Nobody can see, nobody can experience. That's my higher value. Another thing is, if we have many other jewelry, also dangerous, right? If you have many jewel, you wear many jewelries, you cannot go out at night. You feel unsafe. So if we have achieved, if we have got many jewel, like 4 establishment of mindfulness, 4 power of the 4 spiritual power, 5 spiritual power, controlling faculties, all the enlightenment factors, we can bring wherever we go. Also, we are safe and secure. This is a real jewel. So all other jewel we wear or we bring here and there can be stolen by a thief. But the jewel, mindfulness, and other enlightenment factors cannot be stolen by anybody. These are different value. That's why in Buddha's teaching, we also have a jewel. That is enlightenment factors. Then again, the last one. The dispensation is a home of great beings, such as those who enter the stream of teaching, partake the benefit of entering stream of the teaching, etc. So here, I just talk about Sodapati, right? So Buddha teaching also the whole of great beings like Sodapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat. Only they can experience Nibbana. Also, when they are very great, they can experience. Ordinary people cannot experience. As we have one simile in Visuddhimagga, especially about immoral and immoral person. That simile is a little bit bad. Huh? A beggar may never dream about the king. He may never think about to gain the throne. Then similarly, immoral person will never think about Nibbana. They don't want to attain Nibbana. So when we have higher morality, our mind will incline to Nibbana gradually. We know how safe and secure. We can know the benefit of sila. We can also imagine the benefit of concentration and wisdom, gradually the power of attainment. So only great person can achieve higher attainments. That's why the dispensation is also home of great beings. So this is the suttas delivered in Vedanta. Here one more thing I have to open up. When the Buddha visited his family after enlightenment, his only son was 7 years old, right? He was ordained. So when the Buddha, the first Vassa, he was 7 years old. Now 12th Vassa, how many years old? 18 to 19. Right? Because we have to minus 1. Right? 12, we can say 11, 11 plus 7, or 18. Because after 1 Vassa, the Buddha visited. At the time he was 7 years old, right? Then, now Rahula was 18 years old. Now he also had attachment to his father, the Buddha. Although there were many arhats who attained when they are 7 years old, or maybe a little bit older than that. Maybe sometime before ordination, higher ordination, they also attain headship. So Samnira Rahula could not attain any higher attainment, although he was 18 years old. One day, the Buddha was going for Bindabada in Savatthi. Rahula also followed the Buddha. So, as the Buddha has like a mark of the excellent man, Rahula also has the same. So a similar appearance, because son and father and son. He thought, if my father didn't renounce the words, he can be universal monarch. Then I will be his son, throne prince. Then he had daydream following the Buddha. The Buddha realized now Rahula has Kehasita Pema. Kehasita Pema means family love. This is also a kind of lobha, a kind of attachment. That's why the Buddha, okay, here we can say 18 years old Rahula, right? The Buddha talk about vipassana. All types of materialities, present, past, future, internal, external, inferior, superior, gross and subtle, near and far. All these mentalities are impermanent, suffering, non-self. Because Rahula have attachment to materialities, appearance, the body. Actually, that one is I just summarize. Later, Buddha will explain many other things. Anyway, the main thing is here Buddha mentioned past, present, future. Altogether, 11 categories of materialities. Impermanence, suffering, non-self. Then Samnira Rahula asked the Buddha, Venerable Sir, should we contemplate anicca, dukkha, anatta? Should we contemplate only material aggregates as anicca, dukkha, anatta? The Buddha also instructed him, feeling aggregate, perception aggregate, formation aggregate, and consciousness aggregate. Then the Buddha also realized Rahula will be very diligent in that very day. Although they were going for Bindabada, on the way, Rahula remained there and no more following the Buddha. He just came back to his monastery. He just meditates. When seeing Rahula was meditating, his Upajjhaya, Venerable Sariputta, also gave admonishment. Rahula, you must practice mindfulness of breathing. Here, Venerable Sariputta explained him mindfulness of breathing. When you practice mindfulness of breathing, there will be very great benefits. On hearing that, Rahula delights. He had a chance to listen from the Buddhas. Now his Upajjhaya, Venerable Sariputta, also gave instruction. Then, sometimes people also ask, in Pa-Auk Toya, I think you all may have known 32 body parts, right? It's very easy to know 32 body parts. In Pa-Auk Toya, we also teach 42 body parts. Many people also ask, where can we find? Is there any source, any reference? Sure. This one is from Maharahula Vara Sutta. We have 42 body parts. So, the Buddha gave instruction, the 42 body parts. Okay. So you have already know head hair, body hair, and so forth, right? So if we summarize, there are 20 earth elements predominant body parts, 12 water elements predominant body parts, then we have 4 fire elements predominant body parts, and 6 wind elements predominant body parts, altogether 42 body parts. The Buddha give all the instructions. Then one more thing here. We also say that one as a 4 elements method, detailed method. So that means the Buddha also talk about 4 elements to Samnira Rahula at the time. After teaching 4 elements briefly, the Buddha also continues 4 elements method in detail. There's 42 body parts. After that, we can also find many other instructions, as we have learned. Actually, when you read Anapanasati Sutta, you can also find many different steps of Anapana practicing. We can also find all these steps, all these teaching in Maharahula Vara Sutta. So when Rahula was 18 years old, the Buddha and Venerable Sariputta teaching all these things is called Maharahula Vara Sutta. So after Vedanja, after Vedanja, the Buddha visited his family. After that, he may visited many other countries. When Buddha was in Savatthi, the Buddha explained Maharahula Vara Sutta to Rahula, his son, only son Rahula. So this, I think we should finish Vedanja. Now we have to continue another place where the Buddha spent 3 times Vassa. 13th, 18th, and 19th Vassa in Jalika Hill. 3 times the Buddha spent in the same place. But when we study in the Tipitaka, how many discourses the Buddha delivers in Jalika Hill? Then how many Dhamma listeners? We have only one person, Venerable Meghiya, and the Buddha. So it doesn't mean the Buddha didn't deliver any discourses in Jalika Hill. There will be some other teaching there. We have just formal teaching. Formal teaching means the Buddha will talk about dana, sila, sagami divine beings, then mega about the path. After that, kamana, arinava, the force of sensual pleasure. Buddha also will talk about the benefit of renunciation. Finally, the Buddha will talk about 4 noble truths. This is the common discourses. So if we don't have any particular Dhamma talk in some place, we can understand the Buddha deliver only formal discourses. So now, when the Buddha was spending in Jalika Hill, Venerable Meghiya was only attendant bhikkhus. There were no other bhikkhus there. Then one more thing here. Venerable Meghiya was also a Sakya. We can also say another way, Buddha's relatives. He was very proud, although disobedient. Then you may have known Venerable Ananda was permanent attendant, but at the time he wasn't permanent attendant yet. After 20th Vassa, Venerable Ananda became a permanent attendant to the Buddha. From time to time, Venerable Ubawana will take care of the Buddha, Samnira Junda. There are also some, like a Nagasamala, he has actually bad reputation. Then there are many others, bhikkhus, who take care of the Buddha from time to time. So Venerable Mekiya is also one of the attendants. So one day, on the way to Benda, there are many other explanations according to different conditions. They also say in the evening, when the Buddha and Mekiya just walking around in the forest near the river bank, when seeing mango group, Venerable Mekiya thought, oh, this mango is very quiet. I should come here and meditate. So whenever he passed that mango group, he felt like that. I should meditate here. One day, he requested the Buddha to allow him to meditate in the mango group. It was a little bit far from the mountain, Charika Hill, also near the river. The Buddha said, we should say the Buddha advised him, it's not proper time, Mekiya, please wait. The Buddha don't wish to say, don't go, that's why it's not proper time. He requests again, Buddha say, please wait until somebody came and take care of me. He keep requesting. Buddha said 3 times not to go there. Finally, he said, as a Buddha, you have nothing to do. You have already finished all the training. As ordinary people, I have to practice. You can imagine his mind. Then the Buddha also said, okay, so if you talk about practicing, I should not say no. Okay, you may go there. Then, when he was meditating under the mango tree, he has many wrong thoughts, unwholesome thoughts, thoughts of sensual pleasure, thoughts of ill will, thoughts of cruelty, all the wrong thoughts. Thoughts of sensual pleasure means, although he was meditating under the mango tree, in his daydream he was a king. Many of dancers are performing him. So he's watching, enjoying performance. At the time, 3 bandits were arrested and sent to him. Then he said, this one should be killed, this one should be imprisoned. He made judgment there. Those are cruelty and those are evil. So, whole day he was meditating, only daydream, no concentration. Then he also feel a little bit strange. It does not happen to him like this before. He came back and met the Buddha. After that, he also reported all his condition. Although I meditate whole day, I have only daydream. I cannot improve anything. It's a little bit strange to me what happened to me. Then the Buddha said, you haven't liberated minds. You haven't achieved liberated minds. The Buddha also say, your mind is not yet that much mature to achieve any higher attainment. Then the Buddha also talk about the 5 factors to achieve the liberated minds. 1, morality, sila. It doesn't mean Venerable Mekia was breaking many precepts. He has sila. Here we have to think about 2 things. The first one is responsibility. This is also called sila. So he has to take care of the Buddha, but he ignored his responsibility. Although he didn't break any rule and regulation, he didn't perform his duties. This is also called immoral. Then again, proper conversation, sabbaya katha. So we must have proper conversation. That means we must have proper Dhamma discussion. From time to time, we have to discuss Dhamma. For example, from time to time, we can talk about sila. We can discuss. If we have doubt about our virtues, our practice, we can discuss. Is it right or wrong, or some mistakes or no mistakes? We can discuss. There are many rules and regulations in Buddha's teaching. Sometimes we also have doubt. Now, sometimes when we have doubt about concentration, meditation also, we can discuss. Is it right or wrong? Is it proper or improper? This is improvement or just declining? We can discuss. So there are many sabbaya katha. Altogether there are 10 types of sabbaya katha. Okay, proper conversation. The main thing is that it should be wholesome. It should be about the practice. All our conversation must be beneficial for our practice. This is called sabbaya katha, proper conversation. Sometimes we are practicing anapanasati, but we want to know 4 elements. Then we cannot say proper conversation, right? Sometimes we are practicing breathing meditation, but we need to know nirvana. What is the nirvana? So sometimes I'm a little bit lazy to answer that kind of question. Right? Then I just say very simply, nirvana is very far from you. Now think about breathing. Right? It's not practical also. Breathing is more practical. Know the breathing is more practical. So that means sabbaya katha, it must be for our own practice. If something is very far from us, it will make our mind confused. Even seeing the nimitta. Sometimes I don't want to foretell what is the nimitta. If I foretell, they also think a little bit different. For example, I may say, in the very beginning, Bodhikama nimitta is like a gray or not that much bright. But when they really see the nimitta is not gray color, maybe it can be yellowish, maybe. They get confused, they doubt about their nimitta. So similarly, after attaining, or maybe after seeing Patipaka nimitta, also they may have doubt about Patipaka nimitta. So according to our perception, nimitta will change. The color will change, the shape will change, the location will change, there are many other changing. So if we talk about very high level, so it becomes complicated. So when we are practicing breathing meditation, just talk about breathing meditation. Very simple. It will be easier to understand. So if we have seen the nimitta, also we can talk about nimitta. We can discuss what is the nimitta, how to develop, how to maintain, and so forth. Then again, efforts, arata viriya. Yesterday, I have already talked about mental energy and bodily energy. Proper efforts, right efforts. So when we have right efforts, we can improve if we don't have right effort, we cannot improve. Then again, good association, kalyana mitta. So good friends is also very big good supporting cause. So when we say good friends, teacher is also included in good friends. So our friends can support our practice. Our friends also can teach us. Sometimes when we have good friends, we have more mind power, more respect, more diligence. If our friend is improving, sure, we also have a little bit joyful minds, more appreciation, then we also have more confidence. So we also need good association. Finally, wisdom, panya. So whenever we say panya, especially in this kind of Dhamma talk, to Dhamma talk to Venerable Meghiya, it means insight knowledges. At least he must be able to overcome, or he must be the second knowledge, the knowledge of horizon and aberration, embody Udayabhaya Jnana, at least. So Udayabhaya Jnana can divide into two, tender Udayabhaya Jnana, we call it mature Udayabhaya Jnana, two parts. So when we say tender Udayabhaya Jnana, at the time we may have impurity, upakilesa, seeing the very bright light, or we also misunderstand, or we have wrong belief. This is it, nirvana. We have very strong tranquility, we can also misunderstand our ability. This is the nirvana. So we can misunderstand or we can misbelieve. That's why this is called tender Udayabhaya Jnana. After overcoming that stage, we call mature Udayabhaya Jnana. So here in the case of wisdom, it means higher, mature Udayabhaya Jnana, the knowledge of horizon and aberration. Altogether there are 25 horizons discernments, 25 aberration discernments, altogether 50 discernments. After doing that, we can also overcome impurities. This is called wisdom. All these are called, or these 5 factors will make mind mature, or it will produce the liberated mind, freedom of mind. Sometimes our mind is not very free, okay, let alone very high level. If our mind is very busy, planning many different things, even to focus on the breath, it takes a very long time. When we have higher insight knowledge, we may need more calmness, more quietness, more freedom of mind. So these are instructions to Venerable Meghiya. Moreover, they will also recommend him what to do now, what he should do now. He mentioned, one should practice repositiveness meditation to overcome lust. Asubha. In Pali, Asubham Bhavitavam Ragasa Pahanaya. We have this kind of Pali. So when we say Asubha, death Asubha and living Asubha. Living Asubha is the 32 body parts. If we have learned anatomy, we can also practice. For dead body, in Singapore not very easy, right? If you were to see dead body, come to Pa-Auk, right? Actually, we have traditional saying, one time going to funeral is equal to 10 times going to the monastery. So you may have been to this center more than 10 times, right? So 10 times equal to 1 time. Why? sorry, if we have proper practice, practicing asubha, we may have very strong sense of urgency. We can subside attachment very quickly, immediately. That's why it's very powerful. When we are going to practice asubha, although it's very, I say here very simple, but actually it's a very long process. We must see the dead body very carefully and very much in detail. But don't touch dead body. If we touch, we are very familiar with dead body, we don't feel repulsive. That's why when some of the doctor wish to practice asubha, I don't recommend. There are many doctors. They came to Pa-Auk, they want to do asubha. They are very familiar with the dead body. Then, have you ever seen dead body? They say, yes. Have you ever touched? Yes. Don't practice. Okay? Very familiar, that's why not really very good. Then, okay, when we are going to practice, we have to see properly. For example, dead body is a lion, we are standing. We have to remember all the position. For example, hands, with many different joints, right? 2 joints in the shoulder, also elbow, then ankle, right? Also the knees, hip, and ankles, joints. We have to know where is the joint. Then we also have to know body shape. Which one is a little bit lower, which one is higher, everything. Not only that, open or close. For example, eye opens or close, mouth open or close. We have to know in detail. We have to see in detail until we can absorb on our minds. Actually, compared to kasina, seeing dead bodies is very easy. We can absorb very easily. There are many people, they dare not see the dead body, right? Well, it's not that much desirable. So if we're really trying to see, it's very easy to absorb. Whenever we visualize, we can easily visualize it. It's a gross object. So now, Venerable making has thoughts of sensual pleasure. That is why the Buddha recommends the one. He has to practice repulsiveness meditation. Then again, one should practice metta meditation to overcome evil. You have already known what is metta, right? I don't need to explain. Then again, one should practice mindfulness of breathing to overcome wandering thoughts. When you have a lot of thoughts, we should do mindfulness of breathing. Then many people also say, but it's impossible. When we have mindfulness of breathing, we have more thoughts. What to do? Right? So it depends on our minds. When our minds are busy, not only breathing, whatever subject, we may have thoughts. When our mind becomes calm and quiet, it will be easy, not that much thought. Another thing is excessive efforts. When we have excessive efforts, we may have more thoughts. That when we can balance our efforts, not that much thoughts. Many people also misunderstand. If we put too much mental energy, we can improve faster. Sure, you can improve faster within a few minutes. After that, no more energy. Wasted energy. So if we can save our energy, just keep knowing, breathing normally, we can improve gradually. We can also maintain our concentration quality. That's why save energy. When we have excessive efforts, more thoughts. Now, again, one should develop the perceptions of impermanence to overcome pride. Actually, when reading this passage, I can also recognize one practice we call Mana Ukadana, Ditti Ukadana, Nikani Priyadana, especially when we are practicing 7 ways of mental discernment. We also have, in Pali we call Arupa Sattaka. Arupa means mentalities, Sattaka means 7 ways. 7 ways of discerning mentalities. There the Buddha also mentioned mana samukatana. Mana ukatana. That means removing pride. So in this context, we can also understand Venerable Meghiya had already practiced Vipassana a very long time. Mana samukatana is not for beginner. Before that, we have Rupa Sataka, 7 ways of discerning Rupa. After that, the Buddha, we had to practice 7 ways of discerning Nama. Actually, it was very complicated for you. Okay? The main thing is, when the perceptions of anicca, impermanence, become very obvious, we can overcome pride. So if we can emphasize focus on anicca, very long time, we can overcome mana. This is called manas ukadana, one of the practice. So these are instruction to him to continue his practice. You can imagine the first 3 are samatha. Asubha, samatha, metta also, samatha. After that, breathing meditation also, samatha. Then finally the Buddha talk about vipassana. Why the Buddha just say only the one? Why not 5 became method or namarupa method or many other methods? The Buddha couldn't know his mind, what he needs. That's why the Buddha just say this one. For example, although the Buddha, okay, let's say, only our own idea, okay, our own thinking, our own logic, our own reasoning, we can also understand why the Buddha said that one. We cannot find that kind of thing in the Tipitaka, right? For example, he didn't listen to the Buddha. Disobedience. Why? Because of mana, pride. So to overcome it, he may need to practice impermanence, the perceptions of impermanence, anicca. Although it doesn't mention in the commentary or sub-commentary, we can understand that one. So these are the teaching of the Buddha to Venerable Meghiya. Then we can also we can find the one in Uddhana. Okay. Then we also have many others Uddhana by Venerable Meghiya. Uddhana means joyful utterance. Then when we study Dhammavada, we also have 2 stanzas to Venerable Meghiya. The Buddha talk about the mind. So it will be the last topic for today, right? The mind is excitable and unsteady. It is difficult to control and to restrain. The wise one trains his mind to be upright as a fletcher, straighten an arrow. So here mentioned mind is excitable and unsteady. So that means mind is shaking all the time. Change one object to another object. Now this, now that. This is the nature of the mind. Here, Lord also mentioned difficult to control. What does it mean, difficult to control? Actually, in Bali we call durakam. Durakam means, although we know it's wrong, very difficult to control. When it becomes habit, we may do the same mistakes again and again. That's why Buddha said, durakam, difficult to control. Now, another one is to restrain, nivaraya. Very difficult to prevent or protect. So, for example, good things, very difficult to maintain, very difficult to protect. Also, bad things also very difficult to restrain. To nivaraya. This is the nature of the mind. Then here the Buddha mentioned only the wise one trains his mind. So that means to be wiser, we have to train our minds. When we can train our mind, we become wiser naturally. The Buddha also give straightened arrow. Unfortunately, I cannot find arrow here. Right? Okay, anyway, I should give simile, right? So arrow, if arrow is a sub-wood, not very heavy, right? If not very heavy, it cannot run very far. So we must have hard wood to make an arrow. Similarly, when we are going to practice, our mind must be far from all the enjoyable things. This means if we have many enjoyable things, we have only sub-wood, not hard wood. It cannot go very far. Then again, although we have make arrow, if arrow is not really straight, it cannot go to the target straight. We also have to make arrow straight. For example, bamboo arrow. Sometimes bamboo itself is not really straight. So we have to make it straight. How to make it? So nowadays, we have modern technology. I also have watched many things about bamboo. Right? I also have to learn many things about bamboo. How they make bamboo furniture or many different things. Anyway, I will say traditional way. Well, I grew up with bamboo. Right? So after cutting bamboo, if not very straight, we can heat with the fire. For sometimes we can straight. If we want to bang, also we can bang. If we want to make saga, so we can make saga. Anyway, we have to make heat. Then, according to Asian culture, when they make arrow, they will keep arrow on the flat floor. They will press with stone and stick to make it stable. Then they will apply it drying wood. If we make straight, it will be broken. That's why they have to apply ointment. If there's wine, because it's wet, it cannot be broken easily. Then we have to make heat and straight. Similarly, our mind should be pressed with concentration and wisdom. If we don't have these two, it cannot be stable. These are stone and stick to make mind stable. Now what is ointment? Sada. Confidence is ointment. So when we don't have confidence, we feel a bit dry and lazy. When we have confidence, not that much dry, we are not lazy. Then what is the heat? Heat means effort, viriya. So when we have very strong efforts, we can make our mind straight. So these are controlling faculties actually. They work together to make the mind straight. So we also have simile. Here means a fracture, right? We would say archer. If an archer could show his skill in the battlefield, then as a reward, they are king will reward high price according to their skill. Similarly, if we can keep our mind straight, we also have higher reward, attaining path and fruition knowledge. These are simile. Then moreover, the Buddha also say second stanza, Yeah, as a fish covers when taken out of its watery home and thrown onto drying ground, so does the mind cover when it is taken out of the essential worlds to escape from the run of Mara. So that means mind is unstable. We have already said, right? Unstable. Because our daily life is not meditation subject. Not single subject. We have many subjects, many objects. We try to know, see, hear, smell, taste, many objects. So if we are going to stop all the objects, trying to know one object, mind is not ready. Here you mentioned Kubara, like a fish. You can practically see fish, right? Just catch a fish, throw on the ground. It will jump in. This is the way of the mind. So I have already said, to make mind stable, we have to press with wisdom and concentration. Right? After that, we have to apply ointment, make a heat. Then we have faith, confidence, and we also have to be diligent. Then finally we can improve. So then if we can train our minds, so what will be here mentioned to escape from realms of Mara? Here, i.e., Kilesa Vata, realm of moral defilements. It just mentioned very simple things. Not only that, we can also escape from 3 rounds of, we can say 3 Vata, right? For example, Kilesa is also one of the Vata. Where's the Kama? When we have Kilesa, there will be Kama actions or activities. If there's a Kama, there will be the result, Vipaka. So when we can train our minds, we can escape from samsara. This is the highest reward in Buddha's teaching. This is also delivered in Jalika Hill to Venerable Mekia. Okay? So, we cannot find any other discourse in Jalika Hill, only one discourse in Udana, another one is 2 stanzas in Dhammavada. That's all. No other Dhamma talk can be found in Jalika Hill, although the Buddha spanned 3 times, 13, 18 and 19. 3 Vassa. Okay? So, this is, for today, it will be the last, this year also, I think, I'm not sure, right? This year or maybe next year, right? If I have opportunity, I will continue, okay? So may you all be able to practice 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize the end of suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Any question?
Okay, question.
Anybody, any question to ask? If any questions, better ask now instead of waiting until next year.
Okay.
Bante, gratitude to you again for coming to Singapore. Okay, I think Bante shared about it is not easy to have to lead a bhikkhu's life. So, just curious, what keeps a bhikkhu going? So the same question also applies for what keeps a lay, going in the path of the Dhamma.
Path of the Dhamma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the practice. Yeah.
To practice.
Yes.
There can be many other different reasons. Okay. So the first thing is actually, for example, Bodhisattva case. Bodhisattva. When we have very strong sense of urgency, then we may follow the path of the Dhamma. Live it strictly we may follow. This is also one of the reasons. Another thing is confidence. The parami, perfection. When we have very strong perfection, we have more confidence. Most of the people think, I don't think I can attain jhana, right? People think like that. Sure, that kind of mind should not be. If we try, we all can attain. We must believe our own ability. Then there will be on the path of the Dhamma. Right? So sometimes, sure, if we don't believe or if we relax too much, if we follow our wish too much, then we cannot practice Dhamma also. Not only bhikkhu, layperson will be the same. For bhikkhu, sure, it will be very obvious. Even, many, I have many friends in the Bali school, not from China, right? When I grow older, I have many other classmates in many other classes. So now when we see each other, we can talk about many other things about our past, how we learn in the school or something like that. But whenever I talk to them, please come to Pa-Auk meditate, they will say only one thing, I don't think it's possible for me. So that means sometimes we are captured by our many other activities. Sometimes, for example, gain. Mostly Dhamma talker can gain a lot. Not in Singapore, in Myanmar, right? Right? Gain a lot. So that means, if they know all the way of gain, sure, they don't want to meditate that much. They were trying to earn more. They were able to show their ability more. And finally, they forget the purpose of ordination. Right? When we are ordained, we have always say, Bande samsara vada dukkha do mojanataya. Right? We always say that one. So, in order that I will release from round of samsara, may I request Venerable to ordain me. Right? We have that kind of out of compassion. We have that kind of request. But after earning a lot, we forget the purpose of ordination. So then we also, as Buddhists, we must remind ourselves what's the purpose of Buddhists. If we remind ourselves quite often, sure, our mind will incline to Dhamma more. Okay? The Buddha also say we have to recall it every day. Very important thing is actually about the death. If we recall it death, we can stop all the planning projects. Then we have more sense of urgency, more inclination to the Dhamma. Right? Okay, there are many other things to explain. Right? Okay.
Thank you.
Any other thing?
I'm sorry, Swami. So, I'm really sorry for this question.
Uh-huh.
I don't know much Dhamma, but I have this misunderstanding, and if you could help me clear it up, I would appreciate it a lot. From what I do understand about Buddhism is that it's not just acting. For example, if you have a thought, and if the thought is not a meritorious thought, it would be bad for you. So I was wondering, how do you train your mind from temptation? Because I'm a student, so for example, you get invited out for a party or something, and there's the temptation to drink, but you stop yourself. So then even the idea of, wanting to do something, isn't that unmeritorious, and how do you stop that?
Okay. So that means it just means how mature we are. Okay? So Buddhism will never force. Do this, don't do this, right? Never force. We are free. But when we become mature, we may follow the rule and regulation naturally. Okay. So now we have to test our examination by ourselves. How strong we are. The first one is gain. For example, money and morality. Which is more important? We all know the theory, right? Morality is important. But in our real life, in our daily life, how many times have we ever chosen morality? giving up earning. That's how mature we are. Okay? Then again, now your question now. Okay? I introduce you to Pali words. Where are you from?
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, you may know Pali, right? Okay. So the first one we call Labha Priyanta. Labha means gain or earning. Priyanta means ends. End and gain. That means all our morality end up in gain. This is the first type. So I already say money and morality. Which one shall we choose? How many times we have already chosen? This is how mature we are. Okay, the first test. Then again, second one is Yasa Briyanta. Yasa means companion, friends, family, our environment. This is called Yasa. So many people say, I have to go to the party for friendship, I have to drink. Right? They may say like that, for friendship or for better relationship. Sure. That means, here the question, okay, test question, right? Family and morality. Friendship and morality. Which is more important? We know the theory, but how many times we have ever chosen morality? This is second text. Okay? We call Yasa Priyanta. So one more thing here. You may have known about the Parami, right? Parami, Sila Parami, Sila Upa Parami, Sila Paramata Parami. Now you know already, right? Okay. So now Sila Parami. If we pass these two texts, we are fulfilling Sila Parami. Labha Priyanta, Yasa Priyanta. Right? If we can have already overcome these two, we have already passed the first text, Sila Parami. Second one is Anga Priyanta. Anga means body parts. Right? For example, don't tell the truth. If you tell the truth, I will cut your tongue. So we have to sacrifice with our tongue if we tell the truth. If we really sacrifice, sure, this is Anga Priyanta. If we dare not sacrifice, Anga Priyanta. If we sacrifice, we have already passed. Second grade, Sila Upa Parami. Okay? Finally, we have Paramata Parami. If we dare sacrifice with our life, Paramata Parami. These are the level of Parami. How we measure, how shall we test our Parami now? Okay? One more thing here. I think many Sri Lanka can memorize Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta.
I haven't, I'm sorry.
You haven't?
Not yet.
Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta?
The name doesn't...
Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. 10 and the wheel of the Dhamma.
Okay.
The first discourse of the Buddha.
Oh, I might not that well.
No?
No, not yet.
You haven't memorized any Pali?
Not yet, I'm
Not
sorry.
yet. Okay. So anyway, you may have read many books in Sri Lanka, right? Science. Okay. In Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, it mentions there are two extreme ways. You may remember, and many people may know that one. Two extreme ways. Kamesu, Kamasukamlika Yoga, that means self-indulgent. Another one is Attakilamata Yoga, self-mortification. Two extreme ways. We can also say two wrong ways. So that means if we follow our wish too much, we cannot be moral. Right? So, another thing. If we torture our body too much also, we cannot be good meditator. We cannot concentrate well. So let me, Kamasukamlika Yoga, self-indulgence is opposite of morality. Attakilamata Yoga, self-mortification is opposite of concentration. So we must do middle way, right? So sila must be sila. Sila means good habits, good culture, good character. All these are called sila. Not only the person must have good mind, good intention. Although we have good intention, we are not very wise. It cannot be good results. Right? So one more thing here. Unwholesome. Agusala. You know agusala, right? Agusala and kusala.
Yes.
You have already know, right?
Yes.
Agusala. How can we know? How can we determine or decide kusala or agusala? This is also very important. If we say agusala, we have definition. Agusala, savaja, blamable. Dukkha vibhaka, resulting in suffering. Okay, this is it called agusala. What does it mean? Blamable. The first one is attanuvada. We complain ourselves. That means we regret. So, sometimes we may feel guilty also possible. We may feel guilty, we must complain ourselves after making some mistakes. So that means all the agusala were produce the one. Regret, remorse, guilty. Right? So after taking, how many times have you ever felt guilty and remorse? This is the key point of agusala. Another thing is complained by many people, especially good people. This is called paranuvada. We can also say another way, accused by good people. This is also called agusala. Right? If our actions is not very proper, many people will complain or accuse. This is also called agusala. Another one is danda baya. Danda means punishment. It's according to the law. So law is according to it will be different according to the country, right? So whatever law in the country we have to follow. That is also called agusala. So 3 already, right? Remorse, regrets after doing something. So that action will be agusala. Another thing is complained by many good people, agusala. The last one is according to the law. In Sri Lanka, are you allowed to take alcohol?
I don't take alcohol. I'm underage.
Okay.
But in Sri Lanka, you can, I believe.
You can.
Yeah.
But you dare not drink in front of the bhikkhus, right? Right? Even you dare not smoke, right? I have already experienced that kind of thing in Sri Lanka. So one young boy, a young man, he was smoking. When see me, he hide smoke. Oh, this is Sri Lanka style. I realized.
I'm very sorry for him.
Okay. Anyway, the main thing is this. Okay, agusala. I already say 3, right? Another one is dukkati, bad destination. After doing a mistake, we have to be reborn. The bad destination is in the future, very far. There are many people. Okay, you are Buddhist, you may believe future, right? There are many people, they may not believe future. They may not believe next life. They may believe only this life. Sure, for them we have 3. We complain ourselves or we blame ourselves. We feel guilty, sorry, or remorse, regret. This is also called agusala. Complain by people, agusala. Punished by the law, agusala. This is one part, savaja. Now, dukkha vibhaka. Dukkha vibhaka means it will be suffering for ourselves, suffering for other people. It cannot be beneficial for ourselves, it cannot be beneficial for other living beings. This is also called agusala. Okay? Not that much simple. Agusala, mostly we translate as unwholesome. Not that much simple, actually. There are many other hidden meanings. Okay? Yeah?
So, Bhante, for example, the very simple example is that, for example, I don't drink. I've never have.
Okay.
But if to have the temptation, the sita,
You want to
come
drink,
in.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So is that an akusala?
Okay, this is only mental action, not that much serious.
Okay.
Sure, that means greed. Everybody has greed, sure.
Mm.
But anything we have to subside our greed. We have to subdue our greed. This is the main point, right? So as long as your defilements does not come as action, it will be fine. Okay? When your mind become very powerful, it will come as action, then it will be dangerous. It's more dangerous, right? Also, very powerful defilements. Okay? Okay then? Then where will be?
ဟောအရှင်ပြဟောမုတ္တဝါဒမှာပါတဲ့ပိတုနာဝါစာရယ်ဖရုဒဝါစာရယ်တံဖတ်ပလာပါတယ်အဲ့သုံးခုကဟိုအဲ့သုံးခုလည်းတစ်ခုကျွလွန်ရင်လည်းမုတ္တဝါဒပြတ်ပါသလားဗျာ
ဟုတ်ပြီ Okay, now the question is, among the best speech, we have Musawada, telling lie, then Pisuna Vacha, backbiting or maybe divisive speech, Prusa Vacha, hard speech, Samapalaba, useless talk. So if we break one of the four, okay, excepting Musawada, remaining three, is it breaking Musawada? The question is that one, right? So, if someone break, for example, Pisuna Vacha, backbiting or slandering, it make Musawada precepts weaker. We're going to say breaking, but not successful or not very powerful sila. It will make sila weaker. Then one more thing here. It depends on many other traditions. For example, in Myanmar, we don't have that kind of culture. In Thailand, we don't have that kind of culture. Okay, in Sri Lanka, we have some culture. There's Ajiva Tamaka Sila. In Ajiva Tamaka Sila, they use Musawada, Pisuna Vacha, Frusa Vacha, Samapalapa. They also include it. 5 Lisa plus 3 more, altogether 8. This is called Ajiva Tamaka Sila. So they also take that kind of precepts sometimes. Maybe in some community in Sri Lanka. So if we observe this kind of Ajvatamaka Sila, sure, we are breaking particular rules. It's very clear. If we are only 5 precepts, we cannot say breaking Musawada because we're not telling lie. But it makes the precepts weaker. Okay? Then, any other question?
Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay.
Repeat after me. Idame nyatinam hodu. Sukhita hondu nyadayo. Idame nyatinam hodu. Sukhita hondu nyadayo. Idame nyatinam hodu. Sukhita hondu nyadayo. Idame bunyam. Asawakaya. Waham hodu. Idame bunyam. Nibbanasa. Pacayo. Hodu. Mama bunya bagam. Sabha satanam. Bhajemi. Te sabhe. Me samam. Bunya bagam. Labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.